All right, guys. It's looking like we are live. I'm Mike Carmelini. This is Mic'd Up Breaking News Edition, I guess, today. I think we need to talk about Von Miller, don't we? He is a free agent. The Buffalo Bills have released Super Bowl MVP, former and possibly current, soon to be current, Denver Bronco, Von Esquire Miller. So to recap, you guys all know this, but let's just recap. Let's kind of see how it all went down. About 2 hours ago, Ian Rappaport reporting that Von Miller is going to be released, a move we all expected. It's cap relief. He does go on to say that that both sides are open to return. So a little water puts a little water on that, and we had a show. Was it last week? A couple weeks ago? Coach Mike Sanford, Cody Rourke were on the show, and we talked about this. Coach Sanford and I were both on board with bringing Vaughn in, if at all possible. And I'm going to give you the reasons for that later in the show. But for right now, let's kind of just see what the initial reaction is, what everybody's out there thinking, what you guys are thinking, and then we'll get on to, we'll discuss should we do it or should we not do it. But for now, here comes Miroff. Yeah, it's an expected move, cap number. Let's be honest, he's 35. Excuse me, he's going to be 36 maybe before the season starts. I didn't really check, but yeah, he's up there. So if he wasn't a Broncos hero, a legend, Hall of Famer, MVP, Super Bowl champ, first round draft pick out of 2011, would we be talking about this right now? Probably not. He's not Myles Garrett, who, by the way, just signed a $40 million contract because he never was leaving Cleveland. Some of the reaction, Kinley, who's got a new show out, by the way, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called, but please go check that out. Follow Kinley on Twitter, and then find his new show that he's got. Kinley says, love you, Vaughn, but no. That's strong. Doesn't give a reason, but, maybe he does. Maybe he expounds on that later, but here we go. Big Mike. Should we bring Vaughn back? The question I posed. He says, to retire, sure. To play, no. Always one for a strong take, Big Mike. He wants nothing to do with Vaughn, and he probably has a lot of the same reasons that most people do, right? So Vaughn is older. He had 6 sacks, I believe, last year. So a contributor. The year before, I think he was injured. We'll go over his numbers real quick here in a little bit. We'll look at them. Carson was good enough to send out what's up, Dave? How you doing, brother? So Carson sent out this dude. Hit the link and come on the show and talk to me with this, David. Hop on. Should the Broncos re-sign Miller? 50% of you are saying, yeah, bring him in 100%. I'm on board with you guys. 38% only to retire, and then 10% just no, because you hate fun or, whatever. Just no. So don't like that. But I'm going to like your tweet, Carson. There you go. I got your back. Nick Ferguson, Ring of Fame. He's basically calling next up for Von Miller, Ring of Fame. Nick Ferguson of 850K away. Former Bronco safety. I don't know if he has inside information, but he did chime in. Zach Stevens just letting us know that Von Miller's a free agent. All right, Schefter. So it looks like $8.4 million in cap space that the Bills are going to free up. And then he also says that the team is open to bringing Von back. So we're looking at a couple things here, right? We've got your heart and your head. So my heart is like, I don't care what it takes to bring him in. But I don't know that the team's going to do that. So Troy, I don't know, I butcher your last name. Boer. don't we need an outside linebacker coach? I mean, we need a linebacker coach. So when was the last time a team really had like a player coach, right? Uh, that's a that's a good point. And since it's on Twitter, I can just show it on the screen. I can't put it in the comments like I did young David here, who has a wonderful show called David Talks Broncos, by the way. So make sure you check him out. We God, how cool would it be to have Von Miller be a player coach? You know, on the sideline, he does all that stuff, and then towards the end of the game, third quarter, Von's on the bike stretching out, and then he comes in and gets a big sack to win the game. I mean, that sounds good to me. But the problem is the roster, right? Do you have a roster spot for something like that? And that's where a lot of these questions are going to come in, because there's four good ones, or pretty good ones there already, but there's a fifth in there that I think we could spare to get rid of. Dylan Pierce comes in and says, "Come home, Von Miller." Amen to that, brother. I'm with you. Aiden Diaz has a fine Broncos show. As long as he doesn't eat up cap space, his mentorship goes a long way. And that's true. Who's a Nick Benito always says Von Miller is the best player, his favorite player in the world. So, I mean, there's something to that, right? Let's get out of there, David. You had your time. All right. But so this is right after Von Miller was released. The Buffalo Bills are like, "Thank you, Von Miller," and a couple hearts. Like, I kind of feel like if Von was coming back, would they even have done this, this tweet this way? Because that looks like a goodbye to me. Of course, I'm just reading into it, and that doesn't mean that it's a thing, but I found that interesting. Like, the wording could have been a little different if they were like, "Hey, we'll see you soon," or "See you in 2 weeks," or whatever, but they didn't. So I'm not saying the door's closed. I'm not saying it's open. I'm just saying it's a weird tweet from them. So Nick Ferguson got a question. You think he comes back? Nick says no. Von's had an amazing career. I'm sure I'm sure he's going to focus more on pass rush summit. That's helped so many edge rushers improve their game. Can you imagine like Von Miller being a Bronco, and then he's literally can have, like, every day at practice would be a pass rush summit. I think there's value there. Big Mike wouldn't do anything but disrupt the current rotation and take snaps from likes of Ellis Tillman, etc. I'm off it. East Hilton Brian chimes in, says he's 36. No, he's 35, but he'll be 36. So it's true. Can't get around the age. He's old. David Talks Brown is better. He better not join another AFC West team. Yeah, no kidding, right? Like, I can't believe you brought that up just to like harsh my mellow, but imagine him going to the Chargers. Like, Harbaugh sees like 10 plays a game out of him. Can this guy not get 10 plays a game? I bet he can. And yeah, strip sacks, Bo Nix. Let's not do that. Yeah, you're real funny. Keep that up, mister. Big Mike again forgot Von Miller destroyed the locker room over a Halloween party. Just got reminded of that. All right. Well, if you know the Broncos, and you know that history. So we're not talking about that today, though, Big Mike. Yeah, I just threw this in there because $123 million guaranteed for Myles Garrett. I mean, you wonder why these guys want to keep playing a little bit longer. Money, money, money. So, oh, look at this highlight. Jeez, how that got up there. Oh, yeah. That's a great memory. Man, what a great game. 7 sacks. The team. Von Miller was the best. I'm telling you, man, guy's got to have 10 plays in. We just got to find room for him, right? We got to see where we can fit him. Kevin Zano if he's ready for, let's say, 1 or 2 seasons as a rotational guy on the Broncos defense on a cheap deal, then yeah, especially if he's seeing the end of his time on the field. Von Miller's going to retire a Bronco, right? We don't know that, but we know that. It's one of those things that we all know. But he's just saying it would be pretty cool to see him like finish the season on the field. And imagine being at Mile High, or whatever the hell they call it now, and getting to see Von Miller, sack Herbert, or the best thing would be a strip sack on Mahomes, and then PS2 or something picks it up and races off 50 yards for a touchdown to win the game next season. I'm just saying, if that's not the coolest thing you've ever thought of, then you're doing this wrong. All right, BK, Guerrilla Sports. Excuse me. I think the odds of Von returning are extremely low. I do know he'd love to play his final season wherever it is, whenever it is, in Denver, but it takes 2 to tango. Also, teams that thought they may have had a Myles Garrett might look at Von for a 1 year. You know what? That's a great point, BK. So there'll be competition whether the Broncos want to get involved in this competition or not. I don't think it's likely. I don't even know that they make the phone call, but I think somebody will make a phone call of some sort, and it may come from Von's side. And maybe he'll pitch something like that, like, hey, I can help do the little, some coaching. I can come in 8-10 plays a game. I'm not asking for much. I just want to be a part of this. That's me dreaming and loving that. Hi, Mario. Altitude adjustment over at Let's Talk Broncos. I love Von Miller. It's one of my favorite altitude. He's setting us up for like when he starts with I love Von Miller. Having said that, he's one of my favorite all-time Broncos. In fact, he's on the Denver Broncos Mount Rushmore. All right, here we go. That being said, let's write a book. Excuse me. That being said, the Broncos shouldn't bring him back. Cooper and Bonito are staples. Ellis Tillman both show immense promise as rookies. Adding Von would take snaps away from both of them, something this team doesn't need. I will always be a huge fan of Von. Yeah, I mean, these are all reasonable sentiments. Mace says, no, the Broncos shouldn't bring him back. Looks like he did a story over there, so head over to the Denver Post, denversports.com, I guess. And if you have the time, give that a read. Mace will probably already dropped 2,000 words on that in about 5 minutes. And then I think Albright was responding to, it's Mario when he says not to bring him back. He said this is the way. And so, you're kind of seeing the reactions to that. And honestly, I get both sides. But let's kind of talk about what we have, or how Von Miller got to where he is right now, right? So he's drafted in 2011 as our first round draft pick. You all know that. And kind of just went on a tear. Just steady Eddie all the time. You got 11 sacks, 18 and a half in that 2012 season, 14. Super Bowl year at 11, plus that incredible postseason run, and especially in the Super Bowl where he was MVP. If I get something wrong, somebody's going to correct me on it anyway. But all right, so fast forward, 2021. Where are you? Right here. So in 2021, he's got 4.5 sacks for the Broncos. Then he goes to the Rams in that trade and racks up 5 more for them. Grabs himself another Super Bowl, and then jets off to the Bills for another big payday. And he actually played quite well, I thought, in 2022. That 8 sacks is nice. That puts him as a good, solid rotational pass rusher. And then was it last year or 23? Was that an ACL that he tore? I think it was, or was it? Well, okay, it doesn't matter. But he's got the injured season, and then last season, actually kind of a decent season from it. 6 sacks, and if that's just what he is, right? So the question becomes, and that's what we're going to get to now. Uh, all the points that were made by uh, the negatives out there about uh, Tillman and taking snaps from Ellis and all those are absolutely true, and I totally agree with all that. But if you look at this list, this is the current, whatever the current roster is. This is the last published current roster for the Denver Broncos, and of course you've got Nick Bonito and John Cooper there. You're 1 and 2, right? And Jonah Ellis. I mean these, and then okay, so let's just deal with all 4 of these. You got Tillman, Ellis, Cooper, Bonito. That's a nice room, in my opinion. I think Tillman is just like going to come out next season, and he's going to be up in this 1A, 1B, 1C, maybe. A lot of the guys that I know that are in the know, like, are on this guy. So I'm on 2. So we want to, what everybody wants to say is, you don't want to take snaps away from these guys, and that's fair. However, on game day, depending on the game plan and how it's going, think about having 5 pass rushers. Who's this guy right here? Andrew Farmer, sitting on our roster. He's got 2 years experience, 24 years old, 6'4", 250. How many sacks did he have last year? Did he even play? I don't know. I don't recall. But what I can tell you is that if you put Von Miller right there, I don't think that takes anything away from Tillman, Ellis, Cooper, and Bonito. Yeah, those 4 guys are set in stone for next season. If you slide Von Miller, 36-year-old Von Miller, and all right, in Andrew Farmer's slot in the roster, and then he's your player coach, he's Nick Bonito's favorite person in the whole world. I don't see him being a locker room problem at 36 years old. The guy's like, hey, I'm just here to help. I don't see him coming in complaining about playtime. But you never know. These big stars. But think about that, right? Would that, I mean, you could have the guy come in the second half and do some damage. I'm just saying, it's not impossible to do. 1st and 10 podcast with Duda Bronco. Von Miller should just ride out into the sunset and retire. First ballot Hall of Famer. Surefire first ballot. Yeah, thanks, 1st and 10. I think he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't want him to ride off into the sunset until he plays one more season for the Broncos. But good on you for that. All right, just back to this a little bit, though. I just want to say how odd it is to see this from a non-quarterback player or a kicker, this long history. And 129 and a half sacks. I'm not sure where that ranks, but he's got to be getting up there in the I guess the big ranks of sack leaders, all-time sack leaders, maybe. So what to do, right? We and it's not like it's even going to be our choice, right? The Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, George Payton are going to, they'll talk about it, right? They have to. So do the Bills bring Von Miller back? Is that already set in stone? It's just they're just moving cap money around or whatever, and then they're going to bring him back, and it's all been agreed to. I haven't seen anything from Von yet to say, what's going on. A lot of times these guys, when they get released, especially if they've, they got the ego, there's 2 ways to play it. They can act like, oh crap, I got cut. What am I going to do? And then they're just playing, like clickbait type stuff and getting some engagement, but then they know they're going to be signed. But I don't see that with Von. I think Von's it's going to be interesting. I'd love to see, maybe like some little cryptic tweets or something from him would be fun. We'll see. I'm a big Von Miller fan. Broncos Country. I think you guys know that about me, but I think the consensus out there is probably, I'm still seeing like over here on my other side. Yes, we'll take Von. Yeah, it's interesting to see. Go get him. He's going back. All right. So, yeah, we don't know. So that's it, I guess. Never done a breaking news one before, but it was fun. Um, we did about 10 minutes or so, maybe. I don't know. But Von Miller released by the Bills. I'm on board with it, guys. I'm sorry. I think Andrew Farmer can go be a practice squad player somewhere else. Um, depending on how the roster is filled out and how the game plan goes, he could be a picture of Von Miller, a game day inactive. It sounds uncomfortable, right? Like, it's like, do you want to see that? Do you want to watch that, every week when the injury report comes out, and then the actual report for the, when the game's going to start and who's active and who's not, and seeing Von Miller inactive, for 3 weeks straight or something like that. I don't know that it's the best thing for the Broncos or for Von, but guys, we're going to follow along and see what happens. And hopefully, for guys like me, that we do see Von Miller here, because I'm a huge fan. And again, I think it doesn't affect Tillman and those other guys if it's done right. So let's get out of here. Thank you for the comments and for watching, guys. If anything else big comes up, we'll hit it right here at Mic'd Up. So, Malini, please like and subscribe to this if you haven't before. We love having you. We somehow managed to get to 400 subscribers in the first month and a half of the show. So things are going well, and it's because of you guys, and it's because of the fun that we do here. And speaking of that, what we do here is normally I bring 2 guests from 2 different shows, and I put them together in this bowl, and I stir them up and throw them on the screen for you guys. And we do kind of like a around the horn thing, and we have a good time with it. So until next time, though, I'm out of here. And as always, guys, go Broncos, go Von Miller, because he's still my favorite. 58. Love you. Bye.